been reading the Federalist Papers, and I'm starting to think that they were wrong. My training is in physics and philosophy and education. I am not a historian, but from what I can understand, the Federalists were arguing, Madison, Jay, and Hamilton were arguing that we needed to concentrate power in the federal government, and that was the move that needed to get done when we were like a bunch of little colonies trying to figure out who we were as a country. But now we're the biggest empire with the biggest army in the world, and maybe we need to start writing anti-federalist papers. I've been trying to read the Federalist Papers ever since I cited Federalist 10 in my argument against liberal perfectionism and like the failure of cancel culture and liberal purity culture to stop the rise of Trump's second term. There's this line in Federalist 51 that I want to read, which is Madison, "If men were angels, no government would be necessary. If angels were to govern men, neither external nor internal controls on government would be necessary." What does that mean? Both Democrats and Republicans make overtures to the brilliance of the founding fathers. It's part of why the 1619 Project was like impossible for people to wrap their heads around, because criticizing them is like impossible in our American conceptions of patriotism or whatever. But like, despite the fact that they were slave owners, they did have a lot of current and important insights. And one of those insights was that human nature is flawed, right? Men are not angels, and therefore the government structures that we build must like recognize the fact that our worst angels are not our better angels, but our worst demons are going to take control of us sometimes. We're going to have our darker sides come out. Our ambition toward power is going to rule us sometimes. And this is like the invention of the concept of division of power and checks and balances. Government needs to be divided, right? There's the executive and the legislative and all the schoolhouse rock stuff that you learned about as a kid, hopefully. So why, if these boyos are making the case that human nature is flawed and we need division of power to like stop corruption from happening, why do I think that they were like fundamentally wrong? Or rather not wrong, but like, why do I think we need to like revise? Because the division of power has completely failed, specifically at the federal level. Too many of the Supreme Court justices, specifically Amy Coney Barrett and Brett Kavanaugh, are in Trump's back pocket. There is like, power is not divided if the Supreme Court has no oversight capacity over the executive branch. Congress is meant to like oversee the budget, but the president is just doing a bunch of executive orders and like breaking a bunch of rules and spending millions of dollars, billions of dollars on wars that like Congress didn't authorize. So congressional oversight of the executive branch is not working. The message of the No Kings protest is so powerful because effectively the executive branch has captured many of the functions of the legislative branch and the judicial branch. I'm running out of time and I have to like write a lesson plan for tomorrow, but to slow down and conclude. Yes, we need to reform Congress. Yes, we need to reform the way the Supreme Court works. But to me, these feel sentimental and anemic, to quote King. This is not enough. That we might need to pass power back to the states. Maybe we give impeachment power to the governors instead of the Congress. Maybe a federal Congress can't get a budget passed and the government has to shut down. The state Congresses just get to take over. I don't know. Imagine something. These guys just made it up. So can we.